Okay, so we're going to go over placement and edits of the T-intersection civil cells. These cells are kind of modular or component based, where you basically come in and choose the type of intersection you want to place. We're going to place the basic T urban, but we've also got a basic T rural. Both of these are new construction, and then you've got a overlay and widening also of the urban and the rural. After that, we'll do some modification, probably show you how to do some of the horizontal edits to the basic T. Then we're going to come back and place a turn lane, add a turn lane, and then we're going to also place an island and a median nose cell. Alright, so let's move forward. We're going to place this basic T urban. Alright, so it's asking for the references, which are through road edge of pavement, which is going to be that element there, and then the secondary road center line profile a minimum of 75 feet, and that geometry looks good, so I'm going to reset and accept that cell. Okay, so after placement, I'm going to actually use a template display rule here to turn off the curb and gutter and the sidewalk and the end conditions through the intersection there. So before I do that, I'm going to actually take a look at this template, this primary road template here. And if you'll see, there's a couple of null points, or intersection to left, intersection to right. So when I test these, you can see when I move that turns off everything outside the edge of pavement. So I need a way to trigger that. So what is actually triggering it? I'll just look at the point property. So a match line, which there is a match line element in the cell. The problem is I can't target it because it would create a circular dependency. But what I can do is I can come in here and add a parametric constraint or a label here and actually apply it as a parametric constraint. So I'm going to hit apply there. I'm going to go choose the intersection right, and I'm going to put int unbar right. And so basically what how this works is if this point moves, so if that point moves to the left, it shuts that down. So what would a way to move it to the left is apply a parametric constraint called intl, and whatever that value is, if it's a -1 or -10 or -100, it's going to move that point to the left, and which is going to shut off the curb, the sidewalk, and all that. So I'm going to hit OK. Alright, and then I'm going to go to corridor objects. And I'm going to choose the this through road corridor. We'll go to parametric constraints, and I'm going to hit add new, and I'm going to add intersection left. And I'm going to set that value at a -1, and I'm not going to get real precise. If I wasn't making any more changes to this intersection, I'd probably snap to the PC and the PC. That would probably be my beginning and end. But we're going to do a bunch of editing here, so I'm going to just approximately there and approximately there, and then we'll come back and adjust that later on. Alright, and this should turn off our all that through road, curb and gutter and sidewalk and end conditions through that intersection there. Alright, then I'm going to come in and make I'm going to turn off construction class elements, and then we're going to look at some edits here. Okay, so one of the things I'm fixing to do is I'm fixing to select that right edge over here, and I want to change this to like a 85-foot radius. So if I do that, I can tell before I actually make that change, that fillet there is dependent on this turn lane control element right there, and that PC point can't extend beyond that. So if I change that to 85, that's actually going to, I guess you'd call it, break that cell, or your triangulation there is just not going to look real good. So really the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually come right in this area there, right click, and grab that turn lane control, and I'm going to just make this, extend this element, which all that is just copied right on top of the edge of pavement. It's just a partial right on top of the edge of pavement, but I'm going to make it like 150. Alright, and then I'm going to come over here and do the same thing there, because I'm going to actually, instead of making this a 85-foot radius, I'm actually going to make this simple curve on this side like a 3-center curve. So I need room to do that, so I'm going to change that to 150 also. I'm going to grab that element, which that is the center line control element. I'm going to also change it to 150. And that number is just somewhat a guess. I know 85-foot radius is going to fit inside of this. Alright. So next, like I said, we're going to come in now and change this to like 85 feet. Alright, and then we're going to come over and change this side. So I said instead of 85, I'm actually going to change this to like 50. And then I'm going to go to element properties. And then I'm going to open this up, select the fillet, and then what I'm going to do is actually change the back transition to a curve. And then I'm going to give it a radius of 125 with a length of, we'll say 25. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing on this ahead transition. Change that to curve. Radius, I'm going to change that to 125 and change the length to 25. So really what I just did there, I just changed that simple curve to a 3-center curve. You can see this is all holding up well there. The last edit I'm going to make, if you'll see these little, these are lane lines right there. Well, let me talk about one more edit. So if I choose this element there, that's how you would control your lane width. We're going to leave it 12 feet. Well, I'll tell you what, let's make this, let's make that 18. Choose that. I'm going to make that negative 18. Alright, then I'm going to come in and modify this. So if you'll watch the 3D view here, you can see the triangulation. This is really just a way to, we've got a 2% slope for this element there. We haven't talked much about vertical yet, but it's a 2% slope. So really what this allows me to do is, so if I come in here and make this edit here, I'm going to change that to like 60 and watch the 3D view. Well, basically what that does, that allows you to carry that 2% slope further down towards the pavement. Really kind of lets you control, you know, where you stop that 2% slope off the center line there. I'm going to actually make it like 70, I think. And then I'm going to come in and change the side there. instead of 20, I'm going to change this side to like 50. And maybe change it to 55. Actually, 50 look better, so I'll change it back to that. Kind of lines up fairly well with the other side. But you can see what that does. Like I said, looking at that element in properties, if we'll scroll down, you can see that 2% slope. And you could reslope that if needed. Alright, so my last little horizontal edit, I'm going to actually come back in and choose this right click until I get to that turn lane control. And I'm going to come in and change that offset from 0 to -12. Alright, so basically what I did, I made room for a turn lane. And then what we'll do next is actually go place a turn lane civil cell. Okay, so I'm going to place civil cell. And I'm going to go choose the turn lane urban exit. And then first prompt, road edge of pavement profile, minimum 150 feet. And then data point at storage lane start, which that's going to be at the PC there. And that geometry looks good, so I'll reset and accept that cell. So that looks good. I mean, we could come in here if we want to and go to corridor objects. Go to parametric constraints. And move this back a little bit there, that stop station. To kind of clear this off so we can see it. I set intersection left parametric constraint. Okay, the edits are pretty straightforward. So if we just choose the edge of pavement, if I want to change that storage lane length, I just modify that value there. And then you can see the taper length is just as easy to change there if needed. Vertical, if you will look at this element there, you can see that slope projection is just -2%. Obviously you can change that value there, or you can also just open a profile model of that edge of pavement and reprofile it a variable slope if needed. And then just set that new profile active. Okay, so next we're going to go in and place an island civil cell here in this area there. Looking at the cells available, there's island right. And I'm going to choose the through road edge of pavement. Secondary road edge of pavement, which I'm going to actually choose this interval there, and then the curve edge of pavement there. That geometry looks good, so I'll reset and accept. Okay, and then kind of zooming in on the 3D, you can see this island's not riding that surface of that intersection pavement is quite as good as it needs to be, as close, but we actually just project slopes initially here, and then what we'll do in a little while is come back, and after we make some horizontal edits, we'll come back and just reprofile that off of this surface basically, or off of underlying terrain there. Alright, so first, like I said, let's go through just a couple of horizontal edits. So the edit's pretty straightforward. You can change the offsets, any of these offsets, just by selecting that. If I want to make that -16, hit enter. You know, and I could actually come in and change this other side, same thing. You can just kind of walk it down like that, and then if I wanted to, since this is a turn lane here, you know, I think generally this would normally be tapered, so if I want to just make this -8 and just leave that side tapered, you can do that. So the horizontal edit's pretty straightforward. The one I didn't mention, you can also control that nose width there. I think initially set to 3 feet on each of those fillets for the noses. Okay, so what we're going to do next is actually come in and reprofile this element. So what I'm going to do is just open up a view, open a profile model, kind of ease this up so you can kind of see the island itself when we do this. Okay, so we'll go to geometry and we're going to use the profile from surface command. And I'm going to set this vertical offset to 0. Profile adjustment would be none. And then I'm going to select that edge of pavement, reset. Then locate reference surface. Alright, so what I'm going to do is come in, and there's actually an underlying terrain here. Sometimes it's kind of hard to grab. It's called for profiling islands, that one there. So I had to reset a few times to get down to it. Then I'm going to reset to end and then just confirm the rest of these prompts. Alright, so you can see the new profile there. And then all I have to do is just make that new profile active, and you should see this island hop up to the surface there. Okay, so the last little thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually clip the pavement surface with this island shape here. And I'm going to do that by actually adding a void to the terrain here. So I'm going to change this display style to wireframe just so we can kind of see what we're doing. So you can see that pavement running through there. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the terrain model tools, and we're going to do a feature management, add features. So locate the terrain model, so that's going to be pavement surface, and then locate the element to add. It's going to be that road edge of pavement. We'll reset, and then like I said, this is going to be a void, and then you see that retriangulated there. Alright, so I'm going to go back and set the display style. I tell you what, I may just leave this display style just like it is, because next we're going to actually talk about vertical for this intersection cell. We really didn't talk about it much, so we'll do that next. Okay, so as far as vertical, you know, just some of the couple of the basic edits. This edge of pavement here, if you look at the -2% slope, obviously that could be changed there, which would control that fillet, or it, you know, the elevation it takes off. You could open the profile model of that element if you wanted to do that, and just reprofile as needed, or you know, you could come back and maybe do a variable slope from element. And then if we'll look at this element here, Same thing, negative 2% initially on that. That's your turn lane control element there. Alright. Probably one of the first things I'm going to do, if there's no super, which that's the case in this example we're kind of going through, is I'm going to come in and just kind of look at rotate this view a little bit. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to drive down and I'm going to choose this terrain model here. So that pavement surface there. And you could go in Project Explorer and change that as well. But what I'm going to do is come in and turn on flow arrows. And then we're going to rotate the view. And what this will let me do is just kind of see where water's going. And see, see what I need to do profile wise. This side here looks pretty good. All the water's going away. This side here we got water coming back. So let's just go change a profile of this area right in here. So to do that, I'm going to select that profile element there. Or select that edge of pavement there. I'm going to go to over here in Project Explorer or Element Properties, right click, open profile model. I'm going to open up like view 3, and we've got that profile model open. And then really I'm going to just come in and reprofile this. So I'm going to probably choose this profile by complex elements. Curve length 20, that looks good. So enter my first VPI, and then probably going to place about right there. And then I'm going to come in and come a little further down on this vertical on this side. And go back and snap there. Reset. I'm going to select that element. I'm going to pull this down just a little bit more just to make sure we get that dropped a little bit. I'm going to actually pull this down just to turn off AccuSnap, but I'm going to pull this down just a little bit. And if I want to change the length of those curves, I can do that there. Change that to like 30. Change that to 30 as well. Alright, and then I'm going to just set this active. Okay, and then I'm going to have to come back down and choose this terrain model again. Let's turn those those flow arrows back on. You see now we've got that water going off all the way. And this will help you, determine your inlet locations, if you need a curb cut somewhere. That's just kind of a quick overview of the vertical. And I think we had previously mentioned, the vertical of these lane lines there, that's just 2%, so you can change that grade as needed as well. Okay, so the last cell we're going to place is the median nose. So I'm going to come in here and do a place civil cell. We'll go choose the median nose. And then so it says locate the reference element geom CC underbar center line. and that's actually that element there. That's what it's talking about. The geometry looks good, so I'll reset and accept that cell. Okay, so we get this element placed there. I don't think I'm going to go through the vertical edits. You got to do, the vertical, we're just projecting 2%. This one actually is setting pretty good on the surface here. I'm actually going to go back to illustration, ignore lighting. So it's setting pretty good, but you would need to kind of go back and, apply the same technique I use for the island over here as far as reprofiling it. You want to look at these edge of pavements and just make sure they were on the surface element there. But I'm not going to go through that, but I will go through a couple of edits here. So the first one, so to change this nose location, I'm going to just select that edge of pavement there, and we use actually Civil AccuDraw Delta Station there to do this. But so if you want to change this, if I want to move that back to 45, I can change that like that. Then if I want to change this median width, I can come in and just select this that offset. I'm going to change that to 5 feet. And then selecting the other side, you can see that I've got to actually be better just to select that intervals parent and come change that to -5. So that's kind of changing the width. And the last horizontal edit we're talking about is just this nose. Obviously you can change the nose radius from 3 feet to whatever you need, but also this element here, once you kind of look at your turning moment here, this intersection, if you want to come in and change that radius there, it's a 2-centered initially. If you want to come in and change that, you can do that. Okay, so that's kind of a summary of the modular-based T-intersection placement and edits. Maybe a few things we didn't cover. The next thing I would do, which I'm not going to take the time in the video to do this, but come back and just adjust the, your that intersection left parametric constraint. I'd move it back to line it up there, but I'm not going to do it in this video. May have to add a couple of key stations, possibly if you got a little gap there. Generally, you would put those just about 1/100th outside of the PC point there. That's just kind of, like I said, a quick overview of the T-intersection modular cells.